man. Common man, charms the housewives like no one can. What'd you shoot?
Where'd we play?
Non-stop nonsense on deck today. Tune in, it's time for Common Man.
Why should anybody aspire to be a common man, an average man? Do you realize what it means to be average? That means you're the best of the lousiest, and the lousiest of the best. Now, if we demand more and more for producing less and less, while the have-not nations encourage and inspire and indeed require hard work and maximum effort, if we deify the common men while they encourage and reward the uncommon ones, well, the end result of such a lopsided race as that is too obvious to require elaboration.
I mean, it's like, hello.
Just keep battling. And just keep battling. And keep battling.
Capriza.
Yeah, Rosie. Do you think that's some information I would like to
You find this funny, Mr. Grow? You're smiling. You find this humorous? No, they're not. You find this humorous, Mr. Grow? You're laughing and smiling. I'm just wondering if you do. You didn't answer my question, Mr. Grow. Do you find this humorous?
No, I find it keeping the 4 years.
At least you're not smiling and laughing now. Oh, I guess you're back at it again now.
You know how reporters and columnists are? They want the controversy. They want the negativity.
I'm going to let you know. I can't take this anymore.
You know, I didn't like the way we were playing in sack, so I just told him, hey, you're going to live and die with me. Y'all, don't nobody like it. Sit your ass down right here. Don't come out here, but we coming through me. You know, that's why I like Sam to come in. You know, I let them do their things for 3 quarters, come 4 quarters, bring it to the ticket.
I'm pulling my tickets!
I'm a fraud.
Yes.
He's the clown from Brown.
Yeah,
He's the 4th in the North.
Yeah, that would be me.
This is the common man,
No, I'm not.
Dan Cole.
I'm not the 4th in the North. But that's a whole other story in itself, and we'll just keep that to myself for now. Ack-ack-a-dack, and dack-dack-a-ack, you and yours. I'm Common, he's 10 to B. Here until 3. No spread swing. There is a bye week. We are going to do a big game bye week. I don't know if we can milk it. We'll figure out a way to milk 25 minutes out of it. But yeah, we will do that. I don't even know what the results were from last week. I really never do pay attention. Deuce kind of likes it. It's kind of what he does. So he's been kind of watching.
He lives for it.
He kind of lives for it. So we will do that as well. And then Mark Rosen would be coming at 2:00. You know, I'd mentioned earlier in the week, Tennessee, that I think it was on Monday, that my wife and I have been trying to declutter or de-storage. I mean, do you have like a storage room in your house that's just jam-packed to the gills where you can't even walk? You look like a hoarder. If you looked in my storage room, you know those hoarders, those people that, you know, you see those, and some of the stories are just terrible. You'll see somebody that will live in a home or a trailer, and they've actually built in little walkways so they can get from the living room to their bedroom to the bathroom to the couch, and it's just floor to ceiling with newspapers, magazines, or whatever the case may be. Do you have a room like that that's just jammed to the gills with like keepsakes and other things? You go, I just can't part with this. I might need this someday.
Yeah, we have 3 kids.
Right.
And so we have, I wouldn't even say jam-packed, I would say overflowing.
Yes, well, that's even
And even,
more.
you talked about a week or so ago about the iHeartMedia raffle.
Yes.
Well, I ended up bringing home the one of the Papa Shots.
Oh,
for
right.
for the kids to play. So
right.
we bring it into a room in our basement,
and basically had to move all the other hoarding stuff to the side just to get that in. But then the rest of the room now is just objects and junk everywhere.
Objects and junk everywhere.
Yeah.
And I'm the same thing. I'm going through, like, there's a little chest down in the man grotto, and you open it up, and it's board games. And, of course, what do you think? Like the Monopoly games, there's like 2 different kinds of Monopoly. I just like the way Monopoly's changed over the years. Back when I played it as a kid, it was strictly straight cash homie. Now they have the credit card version. Have you seen that? Oh, yes.
Do they have the crypto version yet?
It's ATMs. They'll get crypto eventually. It's just completely different. And I guess that's probably they advance. Nobody deals in cash anymore, right? I mean, if you pay for anything in cash, people look at you like, what are you doing, right? Didn't they just now announce that the United States Mint will no longer print mint pennies?
Yeah.
Pennies are just out, right? It's like, and I get it. I mean, it costs you $1.96. I don't want the 4 pennies. They're just in my pocket. And then I don't keep anything in my pocket. You probably do. Back in the cash days, did you just have your pants pockets bulged, not only with keys and a wallet and a cell phone, but also
the
change?
wallet was much bigger back then, too.
Well,
at least I've slimmed down the wallet because I don't have as much cash and change in it.
What are you telling me?
Well, checking account is down to $65,000 right now. Yeah. Tough times.
Yeah, I would say.
We're roughing it at the Molesky household.
There's fast times at Ridgemont High and tough times you're in, where do you live again?
Shoreview.
In Shoreview. Tough times in the city of Shoreview. There's fast times at Ridgemont High and tough times at Shoreview.
But it's funny now, like even if you go to a gas station, right? They used to always have that little penny tray.
Yeah.
Where you could if you needed a penny, you could grab from it. If you want to donate a penny, you could donate. Now the gas station's just like, let's say you buy a couple donuts and your total is $4.98 and you give them $5. They won't even give you 2 pennies back. They'll just give you a nickel back. Yeah. And they just eat the 3 cents. They don't even care.
And that's probably what they should do. I like to carry cash strictly because I you know me, I used to never pay at the pump. You convinced me. That's another thing you convinced me to do. I still try to get you to not leave the pump and walk into the store and buy your blue Powerade and leave the gas pump running, but I don't think you'll ever change. But I actually pay at the pump now, right? But I like to have money for tips, right? Like, have you ever go to a gas station that has the conveyor belt car wash? Not the one where you just pull in, stop your car, and then the contraption goes back and forth, back and forth. The one where you actually pull in, somebody's got, and they wave you in, make sure you get the wheel on the right one, and then they do this at the Holiday down in Cottage Grove all the time. They ask, do you want wipes? A couple of wipes to wipe down your dashboard. I always do. And then I'd like to give them money. I'm a tipper. I'm sorry. I just am. You can say I don't need to be. Do I really need to tip that person? They're out there in the cold. They're waving that wand and hosing. And I figure they'll also hose my car down better if I give them a couple of bucks. So I give them $3, $4, $6, $7, right? And they do it. And it's all good. It's all good and happy. But if I don't have cash, then I feel bad because you just can't tip it. You should always carry $100 with you, as Dark Star once said, right? You just always should because you never know. Let me tell you something about valet parking. Anyway. So my wife was going through our master bedroom closet, and she still had a couple of boxes from when we moved in. That's how long they've been there. And she opened it up, and I talked about this on Monday. There was a grocery bag in there, and in that grocery bag was some of my schoolwork from like 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grade. Okay. Can you see these through the window at all?
I can see it's a piece of paper with some writing on it.
Yes, there's all sorts of, all in pencil, all cursive. Here's a cursive writing one. And just so you know, now let's face it, I've read my junior high report cards on the air before. A lot of C's, a bunch of D's, a handful of F's, right? I was not. Did people always think, well, then you weren't very smart? No, it was just that I wasn't a very good student. I just wasn't interested.
You didn't care.
I didn't care.
Yeah.
I was more concerned with a whole multicolored galaxy of uppers and downers and screamers and laughers.
70% of getting good grades at school is caring.
Yes.
And just trying.
That is exactly right. But just to show you, there was hope for me. I don't know exactly when this was, because there's no date on this one, and even the ones that have dates don't have years. But you can see my name in the corner. And it's on that paper I was talking. You know what somebody told me that when I brought up the paper that's got little chunks of wood floating around in it? I'll bring it in and show you. There's little chunks of wood here. He says, well, that's because it's recycled paper. And you can't really erase anything because it'll just tear it to shreds. It's really cheap paper. But I got a B+ on this one. B+. So I have gotten good grades. The title of it is January Joys. I'm going to listen to rock and roll music. Of course, I spell music M-I-C-I-C. I will go sledding. I missed one of the D's. I will not go skating. This is where you and I are really going to have some trouble because skating is no fun at all. Well, it's because I didn't know how to skate. That's why I did. I still to this day don't know how to skate. Otherwise, I might have been one of the greatest goaltenders in the history of the National Hockey League. I will make snow forts and snow monsters. I might watch TV. We will have snowball fight in our forts. That's what I will do. B+.
Sounds like a nice little winter.
It was a nice little winter. That's one of them. Here's another for you. This gets a little deeper. Got a B on this one. This goes to show you the times when I was growing up in. I don't like what's happening in Vietnam because there is too much killing. Men get killed every day in Vietnam. Even women are in Vietnam. Men get killed when their plane gets shot down and when they get shot and when pillboxes get exploded. Now, not a pillbox where like you put your multicolored galaxy of uppers and downers and screamers and laughers, but that's what, when you were entrenched in the ground and you were doing, you were lobbing, mortars and such like that, you would be in a pillbox, they called it. So in a pillbox, tend to be, that's what I was against.
How old were you when you?
Well, this one I don't know. This is, Vietnam. This would have had to have been, I'm assuming, because some of these I do have. I didn't bring the notebooks with me, but my notebook in there said 4B. So I was in 4th grade. And I have some artwork, too, that I'm going to share on Twitter one of these days. I'm a hell of it. I'm like a combination of Monet, Renoir, and Van Gogh. But I have another one that I want to get to. And when we come back from break, we're going to do Peek at the Purple. But I also read one more. But I have to put out a warning, a spoiler alert. If you have children that are waiting for the fat man to come in December, you're going to want to turn down the radio. So when we come back, I want you to come back after you turn it down. But if you have young children, because this could be, it's just called a spoiler alert, we'll do that. Right now, as we go to break, Tennessee has got a keyword for us.
The Fan wants to give you a shot to win bonus bucks with our national cash contest. Enter the keyword pay at KFAN.com now for a shot at winning. That keyword is pay. Enter now at KFAN.com. We all that one teacher who believed in us. Well, show your gratitude with Thank a Teacher. Powered by Donors Choose. Nominate a public school teacher to win $5,000 for their classroom. This week, we want to give a shout out to Tyler Halverson, who teaches at Independence Elementary School. Nominate a teacher to thank today at iHeartRadio.com/teachers.
My teacher back in 4th grade must have thought highly of me. I thank Mrs. Grouse. That was her name, Mrs. Grouse. Do you remember all of your elementary school teachers' names?
I remember barely any of them.
My first grade
Not even elementary, like junior high, high school.
My first grade teacher was Mrs. Fennyfoss.
It's a great name.
My second grade teacher was Mrs. Culleton, and I've said she's my favorite teacher of all time. My third grade teacher was Ms. Meredith. My fourth grade teacher was Mrs. Grouse. My fifth grade teacher was Mr. Kaiser, the first male teacher I ever had. And then sixth grade, Miss Pajudo, Pujudo, I think. Miss Pujudo. It was Pujudo. So, I don't know. I don't know why those things.
I know my third grade teacher, Mrs. Leslie, listens to the show because she's reached out to me on social media before. Well, she's a listener.
Well, good for her. I'd like to say hi to her and keep up the good work teaching our youth of America. You know what else I did the other day? You know, I remember, by the way, on the next piece of coursework I did in, this must have been, again, 2nd, 3rd, 4th grade. My address is on there, 1033 86th Avenue Northwest in Coon Rapids. I think that's where I grew up from kindergarten through 6th grade. The house, by the way, if you're wondering, it's on the national site of the National Register of Historic Sites, because that's where I lived during those days. And you know how, like, if you put your address in, it'll show a picture of your house. And I wanted to I don't know, I was bored on the weekend. I was, spinning through stuff, and I typed it in, and there it was. I don't know how I did it, but I remembered my address from when I lived on Quince Avenue in Woodcrest, which is a neighborhood in Coon Rapids. It just hit me. I said 10241 Quince Avenue. I was like, no, is that it? That was it. How did I remember that? I lived there through I think it was 8th grade. I don't know how I remembered that address. I guess in the darkest, deepest recesses of your mind.
Do you remember your home phone number from when you were a kid? And it was only 7 numbers. I didn't even do the area code.
I did, but I don't know if I do now. I know it was 786, but after that, I don't know. Do you remember yours?
Oh, yeah. 425-8749.
Very good.
Yeah.
Now, there was a time, and you were the one that, here's another thing you taught me. Why don't you put your phone contacts in your phone? Because I used to have numbers memorized. I would just dial people, because that's what you did back in the olden days. If you didn't want to keep a little, phone log with you or whatever it was, you would just memorize it. And you didn't need as many. How many contacts do you have?
Oh, it's got to be hundreds.
Hundreds?
I could go through my list of contacts right now. I bet you there's 30 names in there. I don't even know who they are. Like, I wouldn't even be able to recognize them.
I have over 400, and I say to myself, there's no way I have over. Then I start trying to count them. My gosh, there is 400. I have 6, 7 names of people that have passed away. My stepmom and my dad, their phone number is still in there. Remember Ron Rosenbaum, the attorney? Yeah. His number is still in mine. I have phone numbers for people that are no longer. Do
their voicemails still work? Could you still listen to their voice on the voicemail?
I don't even know if I would do that. That might be too eerie. But I have, and you know what? I refuse to eliminate those numbers from my. I
kind of want to see if Dark Star has a voicemail. Yeah. I would love to hear that one again.
Where he says, if it's good news or money, leave me a message.
Brilliant.
Do you think that's weird that I will not eliminate the names of people that have passed away from my contact?
I probably haven't done mine.
Because that means I'm discarding. It's like, well, they're out of my life now. Well, I know they are. I can't talk to them. I guess I could look up or down, whatever I think they.
I'm just never really scrolling through my contacts, so I don't even know which. I'm sure there's dead people in there.
I've got, like I say, 6, 7, maybe even a bit more. But anyway. So I gave the what do I call it? The spoiler alert. If you have children in your car, this is late December related. Late December related.
Back in '63.
Yeah. So I'm going to read a letter that apparently how I have it, because it was intended for the fat man in the red suit. But here's what it says. I'm going to read it in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. December 19th. It's 6 days before Christmas. Dear Santa Claus, I know there's no such thing as Santa Claus. Think about it. I was that.
How old were you?
Well, I think this is probably because most of the stuff in there was in 4th grade, so I was 10 years old.
Huh.
But this might have been 2nd grade. I think it was 2nd when I was 8, but I don't know. That's how cynical I was. And I questioned everything. Remember I told you I always questioned authority? I still do.
I think you just had women's intuition.
I do have that. I also, wearing women's underwear is part of my turn on, and I do like to shop. You know the worst part about shopping at Victoria's Secret is? They won't let you try anything on. I know there's no such thing as Santa Claus, because if there was, he would be dead by now.
Wow. It's got gory.
Kara has taken this. I read it to her, and she's put it on the KFAN Insta account, so it's there. And you can see the actual letter because she zooms in on it. Because if there was, he would be dead by now. Now, if there was, I would be asking for lots of things. So if you were real, why be asking for lots of, and why wouldn't you, right? Wouldn't you?
Yeah.
But there just is not a Santa Claus. Because there is no fat man. I have no spelled K-N-O-W. because there is no fat man who goes, ho, 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 Merry Christmas and things like that. So never come down my chimney again. Wow. And I'm admitting that he is real, though, right? Because I'm saying he's come down my chimney. So never come down my chimney again. And then it says, your friend. Oh. Damn.
Wonder what your parents thought when they read that one.
No grade on this one.
Well, that was for school.
Yeah, well, I think it was because, I don't know. Because this seems to be almost all schoolwork. Here's one that's kind of sad. Got a B on it. I would feel bad for my father. My father could not support us. To help, I would try to find a job, like maybe a paper boy. At home, I would help around the house. I would do all sorts of things. My father's job could be taken away by truck washing machines. So I think the question is, we might have been responding to a question is, what if your father lost his job? And so this is what I read. And the truck washing thing was, my dad had a company called M&P Mobile Wash, right? And he started with another guy. They had one truck, and I think they graduated to two before they went out of business. I don't know if my dad mismanaged the company. If they weren't, he just couldn't get. One of their first accounts was Old Dutch. Old Dutch potato chips. Old Dutch, the snappy chips. Crispy, crunchy, light, and tasty. Old Dutch potato chips. That was their jingle. And so a mobile truck washer, they had a big tanker truck, and they would drive it to Old Dutch, and they would wash their their big trailers that they shipped the potato chips in, right? And my dad's they had the name for the truck. It was called Big Sid. So even then I was worried. Even back then, this would have been in the late 1960s. I was worried about technology taking over my dad's job, because it says my father's job could be taken away by truck washing machines. Think about that, Tennessee. My father's job could be taken away by truck washing machines. Be taken away because they couldn't make the payment on the truck because they didn't have enough business, and so they had to go bankrupt. That could have happened too. I just don't know. Oh, I was supposed to do peek at the
peek at your past.
Peek at my past. I like that. Peek at my past. That's really good. Peek at the Past brought to you by Affordable Electric. Minnesota winters, as we know, don't mess around, and neither do electrical problems. Flickering lights, breakers tripping, outlets stop working. Don't wait until it's emergency. Have Affordable Electric. Keep your home safe and warm powered all winter long. 612-331-VOLT or visit affordable-electric.com. Affordable-electric.com. And remember, Affordable Electric is shockingly affordable. Back with a little...
Every game is a big game when it's Wild Hockey. Feel the intensity and excitement at Grand Casino Arena this season. Get your tickets today at wild.com/tickets.
Booth@KFAN.com is our email address. I rarely look at it. I don't even know if I could anymore. These computer contraptions that the kids invented all those years ago. I don't know. Was it IBM? Was that the very first one? So I don't know. I can't get to it anymore. Don't bother calling. We never answer anyways. Talk back. And then, of course, we have the Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line. And I love when I'm able to respond with the old bits. And I like the guys that get it. For instance, this one came in that said, no sports happening in the world. Because, we were talking about the olden days and reading coursework and such like that. And I write back, sports. Is your whole life just sports? And you know what he said? He texted back. He said, exactly the response I was looking for. Thanks. So
I always love that one.
Now, this guy, I don't know. I think he's actually serious, but I could be wrong from the 320. All right. I think it's time to move on to a new topic. And then I go, leave the subject matter to the professionals. And then I even took it another step.
I always love that.
The host who has been doing talk radio since 93 and knows his audience. Well, I do. I think most of the audience kind of likes it, especially if you listen all day, every day, or often. It's like, And then one guy really gets a bit. This is so good. He says, 2 segments. You haven't talked about the quarterback situation yet. And then there was the one that said, I left my dad's phone number in my favorites. He passed away almost 2 years ago. I just can't change it. Then this one says, we have finally found out the way you are is because of your messed up childhood. Well, I guess I was.
I always love that.
And then there was this one that I really like. Let me find it again. Oh, here it is. Common, it seems even as a young lad, you embraced the esoteric approach, offering insight into the Vietnam War and throwing shade at Santa. You were definitely a rare one. I think I was throwing shade. I love that phrase. I was throwing shade at Santa. And then I was talking about the Vietnam War. I was different. I marched to a beat of
You're built different.
I am built different. You sent me this. NBA Central app, the Dunk Central. Dunk. Swish, swish. Now, Rosen calls him Giannis, but it's Giannis. But I
think he just called him the Greek freak.
Right. But he just uses either pronunciation. But he's called him Giannis before. I've heard him. Because it isn't, is it? It's Giannis.
It's Giannis.
Yeah. Giannis. And it took me forever to be able to pronounce his last name. Let me tell you, if you Google a name for pronunciations that we do on the air all the time, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Is that correct? Or is it Antetokounmpo? I think it's Ante. Giannis Antetokounmpo is very interested in teaming up with Anthony Edwards.
Oh my gosh.
At the Stein line and at Jake L. Fisher. Do we know anything about the Stein line? And are they just trying to prop up?
I think Stein used to be an ESPN guy.
Okay. So we don't think they're propping
Might
up
still
sagging.
be, I don't know.
We don't think they're trying to prop up sagging ratings here. We think they do have some insight. Here's what they say. League sources say that the prospect of teaming up with Anthony Edwards holds strong appeal for Antetokounmpo, which led to some notable back-channel discussions in recent months that lend true legitimacy to Minnesota's status as a potential landing spot, despite the undeniable obstacles that the Timberwolves would face. And there are a lot of undeniable obstacles, and I think most of it has to do with the universal language, money, right? You got first apron, second apron, salary caps, max contracts, minimum contracts. I don't know how you fit it all in. I really don't know. It seems like, what someone said when we were talking about the Vikings situation and, the $300 million they put when they went the different direction in the quarterback. There's your quarterback segment for the day. When they decided, we'll go with the young guy. We're not going to pay Sam $100 million. We have that money to go spend on other players. Someone said, and this is the first time I've ever heard this from somebody, goes, there really is no salary cap. Because it does seem like everybody finds a way to circumvent it, right? You push money down the road, or you take, instead of, the guys do, like, let's say the Vikings, for instance, have a decision to make on their tight end, Hawkinson. He's due, if they just went with the letter of the contract the way it is right now, they'd have to pay him $21 million in 2026. 10 to be? Not going to work, right? So then, do they turn it into a signing bonus, right? That's what they seem to be able to do. They can go, well, we'll take the 21, we'll pay you $2 million for the season, and the other 19.2 or whatever will be a signing bonus. And I don't think the player cares how he gets his money, right? I don't care. Signing bonus, cash, credit, just as long as I get my money, I get it. So same thing. I have to figure if the Minnesota Timberwolves, if there's anything to this, and they wanted to acquire I can't say his name now. Antetokounmpo, they could figure it out, right? There is a way, because I think.
Well, you're just gonna have to ship out the amount of salary you're bringing in. That's kind of what NBA trades are anyway. But.
Or right. But it's very difficult to do. And can you do it? There has to be a way. If you really want, I guess that's what I'm saying is. If you really want to do it, there is a way to do it, right? Because then you could even go over the salary cap too, right? If you're willing to pay the luxury tax. Isn't that true?
Yes.
I don't know how that works either. I think they'd be a pretty good club.
I don't think the salary is the issue. I think it's what assets do we have to give up anymore, right? That's the one thing, everyone's been lauding the Rudy Gobert trade, but really now the Rudy Gobert trade is handcuffing you from doing anything else, because you've You'd want to be able to give a team like this for Antetokounmpo a bunch of draft picks, and we don't have that to do. So now, the current issue with the Wolves roster right now, from what I've heard from basketball Bobos, is they're lacking depth. They need a guy here. They need a guy there.
Yep.
Well, to get the Greek freak in here, you're going to have to give up Jaden McDaniels. You're going to have to give up maybe Rudy Gobert. You're going to have to give up Dilly. Like, there's going to be multiple players. So even when you bring in Giannis, it's going to be Giannis and Ant, which is great, and they're going to have, nobody with them. And you're not going to have any draft picks in the future to supplement that roster with those two. So it sounds great in theory to bring in another star, but I don't know if they can hurt their depth anymore, and they won't have an outlet to go get more depth.
Yeah. I think you're spot on. I think you're, would you call them Bobos? I think they're spot on. So there are, as it says here, it says, it lend true legitimacy to Minnesota's status as a potential landing spot despite the undeniable obstacles that the Timberwolves would face. It's an old saying I just made up to me, where there's a will, there's a way. And so I think they can find it. And
it is great to have a team that's like a little bit of a destination for once, where players actually want to come here.
Correct. And you know what I will also say is, I'll say the same, even though the team now has improved to the point that we've been to back-to-back Western Conference Finals, I'll say again what I said when they announced the Gobert trade. I'm not sure if the Antetokounmpo trade would work, but I'm willing to try anything, because we've been to 3 Western Conference Finals. We're 0-3. I'd like to get to the NBA Finals, and you'd like to win a world championship. If people believe this would do it, because that's what people, that's why I said with the Gobert thing, I'm willing to try anything at this point. And the Gobert trade at the time, like you say, I think now it's getting to the point where there's diminishing returns now because of what you can do in the immediate and future, in the near future. But I was all for it, and it actually worked. I mean, it didn't get us to the NBA Finals, but it got us out of the first round since 2003, 2004. And then it happened again the following year. And that was after another blockbuster when we decided, we didn't want Big Meow anymore, and Big Meow went from Big Meow to Bodega Cat. So it'd be fun. I tell you this, I've not watched any Timberwolf basketball this year. Bits and pieces, little, 2 minutes here, a minute there, probably grand total about a quarter of basketball. I'd watch their next game. If Antetokounmpo's, I'd be all dialed in. I wonder what he brings. This could be fun to watch, right? See how him and Ant work together. Now, again, we'd probably have to trade so many people. We'd have to play 5-on-2, and I hope the 2 of them could beat the 5. But yeah, I think I'd be all for it. Wouldn't you? I don't. At this point, I don't care.
Depends what you have to give up. I don't know if I want to give up on Rudy Gobert. I'd throw in a trade, because you hope Belanger long term could replicate some rebounding and some of the defense.
He had a good game last night.
Jaden McDaniels seems a little irreplaceable. Not that he's just a superstar out there, but from what he can do, and you're trying to make a run in the NBA Finals. You need someone who can defend the other team's top players. I don't know if I would be throwing him in the mix, but Naz Reid might get thrown in there. But I mean, at some point, you got to have more than 2 guys on your team,
right?
And especially in the with injuries and load management, if you don't have depth and one of those guys is out for a while, then you're really in trouble.
So you're telling me if Milwaukee called and said, we'll give you Antetokounmpo, but we need Dillingham, Naz Reid, and Jaden McDaniels, you would turn that down? I would say, when can he be here?
Well, Dilly is
I'm just saying,
nothing.
But I'm just throwing in another name.
I would do it for that, yes.
Yeah.
I'd like to try to do it without putting Jaden in there.
Right.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you could, because like you say,
I think Gobert's the guy you'd want to throw in a trade.
It's like that's who you'd like to. Well, you and I talk about this all the time. It's always funny when, it gets near trade deadline for any of the teams, and people will propose, especially when it comes to football, they'll propose these trades to you and me. Why don't we try to do, or NBA, it'll be the most lopsided trade in the favor of their favorite team. It's like, yeah, that'd be great. Would love to. They'll propose Herschel Walker type trades in favor of their team, and it's like it's like the fantasy football stuff. I see that you're not going to have a quarterback in week 4, so if you'll trade me, what's Najigba's first name?
Jackson Smith and Jigba.
If you'll trade me Jackson Smith and the Jigba and
Puka Nacua.
well, I was going to do a running back.
Christian McCaffrey.
Christian McCaffrey. I'll trade you Stidman because he's pretty good.
I always love that one.
Yeah, I'm going to do that right away. They always try to bamboozle you. So, here's a text message that says, "Hey, Common, the Wolves really want to invest in a 31-year-old player. They have not learned much with the Gobert trade. Make all those trades for what? The Wolves are further away from a championship than one player." Peter from Pequot. Pete from Pequot. I like that. Well, yeah, I guess, but if you're constantly trying to just assemble the best team ever, we've been doing that for years. Teams spend all this time trying to find the best comment. Sometimes you just say, let's go for it here.
Well, and 31 ain't that old.
No,
I mean, you can still get 4 or 5 quality years out of them.
Now, I got to admit, I don't know how much Antetokounmpo has left. I would still think plenty, like you say, at 31. These guys are much better at taking care of themselves, I think, back in the olden days, right? So I don't know. This one says, the only 3 I wouldn't give up would be Ant, Randall, and Jaden. Yeah, but you probably have to give up one of those.
Well, yeah, I forgot Julius. Julius is probably one that's going to be, he'll be in the trade.
Yeah.
He'd be in the trade.
Yeah. I mean, you're not going to give up Ant. That would be defeating the purpose.
No, that's not
right.
possible.
But
But would you give up Julius Randle, Rudy Gobert, and Dilly Dilly?
Sure. Well, Randall, I've really become a big fan. Much of it is because of his play, but also, and I quoted from that story in the Fish Wrap a couple of weeks ago, where I just like his approach to it and how he's gets himself ready for games and stuff. And he talks about how he really feels like he's at a place where he's really happy with himself. He's very comfortable with who he's been, where he's going, where he's at, that whole thing. Be hard to part ways with him, but I don't know. I leave that to the basketball people, but I would say, I mean, just by name recognition, right? Just by, you almost, other than Ant, if I wouldn't give up Jaden. I don't think I'd give up Jaden, Gobert, and Randall. That seems like it'd be pretty lopsided, but I don't know. Maybe the basketball people out there, the people in the basketball community who know, that is a lot.
Yeah.
But maybe the people in the basketball community that know more than I do will say, Antetokounmpo's a top 5 player in the league still, or top 10. You got to get him. You combine him with blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I just, but I'm at the point now. That's why I'm all in on,
Quinnesota.
Yeah, I'm all in on Quinnesota.
Yeah.
I'm all in on whatever they do. I mean, if we were a team that had a handful of cups on the shelf, right? Because it's the cup, or had a handful of Lombardos, or a handful of Larry O'Brien? Is that who it is? Larry O'Brien trophies? Well, then I might be a bit more cautious and go, we don't need to do that. We just won a couple of years. Let's keep doing the way we used to do. But it's like you get to the point where you've never been. It's like, I just want to do anything to try to make you can say, well, the Wolves, though, past 2 years, they did get to the final, the conference finals. And, but is it still where it's like in the West, at least those 2 years, it was the Mavs and the Thunder, which were just too much for us. They were just superior teams. And are we still too far behind them? But if we are, then it makes sense to try something else. Right? I think. I don't know. This one says, Rudy's got to go. It's time for Antetokounmpo. It's a little hard to do. This one says, they would want Randall and McDaniel. Would they want Randall McDaniel? Could you give them Randall McDaniel instead? Because they say, we'll take Randall.
They need an elementary teacher there in Milwaukee.
Well, they say, we'll take Randall and McDaniel for it. And then you just pretend you thought they said Randall McDaniel and say, brilliant. Well, you wanted Randall McDaniel. He's available. He's teaching elementary school like Tennessee. I don't think he's played hoops before, but he's got a big body.
Oh, he can protect the lane. There's no doubt about that.
I don't think there's any question. Someone else says he's still top 5 in the NBA. Says averaging 28 a game and 64% shooting. I know you're not supposed to. If you can fill up the basket, you apparently don't care about defense as much. But is he a good my guess
Yes.
is he plays defense too, right?
Yeah. Was a phenomenal athlete for his size.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. And we'll just have to wait. And would they take Ronald McDonald? Somebody sent that. I'll send it to rewrite and have him punch it up. Sorry, I just felt it was almost like the text messenger needed to try to put his voice. It's Ronald, not funny. Sorry. Speaking of that, talk about funny. Sauce and I and Larry Mondello guy. The tickets are flying off the shelves.
Huh?
The problem is tickets are still available because apparently the Eagles Club in Rochester is such a cavernous room. The guy there told us, we can fit 250 in here. Think we're going to get to 250, Tana? I don't think so. So, I mean, I don't think you can buy tickets anytime you want. Just go to commonmanbook.com and buy your tickets. Meatsaw says he's going to change it up. He's got some new material. You know how we used to do we ever go to Target looking for athletic socks, come home with Home Alone 2 on Blu-ray DVD. Now he says, you ever go to Target looking for athletic socks and come back with Home Alone 3 on Blu-ray DVD. Isn't that funnier? He's changed up his material. That's different. And that's what
they have like 4 or 5 versions of Home Alone, by the way, now. I mean, the first 2 were like the Macaulay Culkin years.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, my kids have seen the newer versions.
Oh, so like they don't have him in it because he's too old.
No,
right?
yeah, no.
They're not as good, or are they?
Well, they're not nearly as good as the first one,
yeah.
no.
Well, that's
like... Well, one's not very good at all. The other 2 that's fine.
You alerted me to when the news first broke, I think that regular...
What is that?
I don't know.
Why is the ringer on?
I don't know.
Huh?
651. And the last ones are 1500, 1500. Huh.
I always love that one.
I wonder why Ginny's calling. That's mysterious.
Is there a button to turn the ringer off?
Well, I'm going to try, yeah, but I don't dare. What if it explodes? What if it self-destructs in 5 seconds? How about if I pick it up and just hang up? Oh,
you gotta turn it on first.
Oh. Hello?
That didn't work either.
That's not. Think that's going to help?
You can unplug it in the back.
I get. What do you think that'll work?
No, they stopped calling.
Ah, man. So what were we talking about just now?
You've got to be kidding me.
Antetokounmpo?
Yeah, but there was something else I was going to go back to the old.
Oh, you're doing your Flop, Sweat, and Tears, Meat Sauce, new material.
Oh, you were the one that alerted me to the fact that they're going to do a Rockford Files reboot. And I said to somebody, because somebody else emailed me that as well, because they know I'm a big fan of the Rockford Files. And I said, well, unless you've got James Garner, unless you got James Garner, now I can hear somebody talking. Hello?
Are you ever going to break?
I'm about to now. Break says 42 or 57. It's only 54.
Yeah, we're going by his instructions now. He's trying
to the professionals. I don't care if they're rebooting the Rockford Files. James Garner's dead. I still have his number in my contact list. But
you wouldn't even check it out?
Because it can't be as good. It's just by definition, the reason the show was brilliant was because of James Garner and Angel. They were the 2 best combination characters of all time. You take them off the show, it just can't be as good.
Well, it could still be good without being as good, though. It could still be entertainment for you.
Maybe. But I don't know. I guess, you could be right, but I highly doubt it.
Like the Wild pre-Quinn Hughes were still good, so it's still fun to watch them. They were still entertaining.
I didn't watch the pre-Quinn Hughes or the post-Quinn Hughes, so there you go. Let's do this. Let's take a break. Other side of the break, Ten and B will have a. We're going to do 5-3-4. So as always, he'll tease it for us. What you got, Ten?
Yeah, we took down Dallas's JV team.